Pastor Boston, in today's world, especially here in America, it seems like the world is always pedal to the metal. Everybody's always in the fast lane. Everything is always in a hurry. And this can cause people to get anxious. What are ways that we become anxious? And is anxiety a sin?
I can answer the first question quickly because there's no pattern, there's no set cake cutter answer to how do different individuals acquire anxiety. Anxiety can rear its head up in different people's lives in different ways. So to answer that, I cannot. But to answer the question about is anxiety a sin? Yes, anxiety is a sin. In Philippians 4 and 6, it tells us, it says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Now, there's something very important prior to that, because when we read that, we must read it in its context. Prior to that, in verse 5, it ends with the phrase, the Lord is near. So what Paul was talking about in context was God's nearness, which should grant the believer spiritual stability. So when he talks about God's nearness, then he follows it with the exhortation that believers should not be fearful, should not be anxious, should not be wavering. Why? Because what verse 5 says, because the Lord is near. The emphasis here is the stability that the saint or the believer should have because of the presence of God. It is a sin, anxiety. It's a sin that is forbidden, it's expressly forbidden by the Lord. It's also harmful to individuals' health, their productivity, and to their relationships. It wreaks havoc, if you will, throughout the individual mind who allows anxiety to live within them. It's clear from just that verse alone that any unchecked anxiety is not good for a person. Any anxiety that goes unchecked is not good. Not only is it clear from Scripture that, but it's also clear from that verse that it is a sin that is expressly forbidden by the Lord. So it's really the spiritual cost that we must consider when a person allows anxiety to rule their life or to drive them, if you will. Anxiety is harmful for a person's health. It decreases their productivity. It makes relationships bad, if you will. Anxiety, it can strangle your mind, so to speak. So with that being said, I'd like to also make note that what is said and how it says after it's spoken of the Lord being near, it tells us unequivocally in a present imperative. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. This is not an option that we can choose to have anxiety, allow anxiety to live in our life. We are commanded by God to not allow this to be an habitual practice in the life of a believer. Why would a believer be anxious? Why would a believer be fearful? Why would a believer have anxiety? So when a believer displays anxiety, it speaks against them believing that not only God is for them, but God is near them.
Visit us online for more information at cbfc.org. Or you can visit Pastor Boston at his other social media destinations. Facebook, Conquerors Bible Fellowship Church. On Twitter, Pastor_Boston. Or on Blogspot, MikeWBostonSR.blogspot.com. That's it for this edition of Guarding the Truth, where we're guarding the truth until God comes.